I got so much motherfucking design on right now.
Break it down, bring it back, make it clap. I got 3 old thoughts, new block, where that thing. Pictures on my line, and you know.
Good afternoon. Introduce, my name is Agung Din Saputra. I am from Information System Study Program from Cutnyadin University. On this occasion, I will describe English learning material from 1 to 7. Okay, for study material, it's about modal. Now, let's see how modal is used in above slide and why it is used. Modal has 3 verbs as follows: 1. Definition, 2. Structure, 3. How to use. Definition: a modal verb is a type of auxiliary verb that is used to indicate modality that is like could, ability, permission, possibility. List of modal verbs: can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, ought to, must. A. Modal verbs do not add or s to the third person singular. B. Modal verbs don't need auxiliaries to form negative and question. Example: she doesn't should stay. She shouldn't stay. C. Modal verbs don't have infinitives or ing forms. Example: canning to make. How to use: can, ability or possibility. They can control their own work. Impossibility, we can fix it. Asking to permission: can I bring here? Request: can you help me? Could, permission: could I borrow your dictionary? Request: could you say it again more slowly? Possibility: I think we could have another tea. Future: I wish he could meet me next time. Okay, second learning material about adjective clause is that, who, whom, which, that, whose, when, where. We use adjective clause, also called relative clause, to indicate or give additional information about nouns or people, place, or thing. Who and whom are used only for people. Who is the subject of the clause. After who, you should see a verb. Whom is the object of the clause. After whom, you should see a subject or noun or pronoun. Sentence with adjective clause can be seen as combination of 2 sentences. Example: I have a friend plus she loves to shop. I have a friend who loves to shop. Who: the man is playing baseball. The man is holding a bat. The man who is holding the bat is playing baseball. Whom: I see the doctor in the room. The doctor is my father. The doctor whom you see in the room is my father. Which I use only for things which can be both subject and object of the clause. Which: the telephone is in your room. The telephone is ringing. The telephone which is in your room is ringing. That I use for both people and things, less formal than whom and which. That can be both subject and object of the clause. That I see the flower. The flower are in the pond. The flower that you see are in the pond. I see the flower that are in the pond. Was is the possessive and is used for both people and thing and must be followed by a noun. Was plus noun can be subject or object. I heard the scientist whose work is attracting interest. I meet the scientist whose work I admire. Was: the girl is crying. her cat is sick. The girl whose cat is sick is crying. Okay, next, learning material third. It's about ground. What are ground? A ground is a verb in its ing present participle form that function as a noun that names an activity rather than a person or thing. Any action verb can be made into a ground. Ground example: ground can appear at the beginning of a sentence when used as a subject. Playing game online is a hobby of mine. Ground can act as an object following the verb. Harry quit smoking a year ago. Ground can serve as an object after a preposition. I look forward to helping you paint the house. What are infinitives? An infinitive is a verb form that acts as other parts of speech in a sentence. It is formed with two plus base form of the verb. Example: to buy, to work. Infinity example: infinity can be used as an object following the verb. Jim always forget to eat. A subject at the beginning of a sentence. To travel around the world requires a lot of time and money, and adverb modifying a verb. You promise to buy a diamond ring. Fourth learning material. It's about possessive adjective. Possessive adjectives are determiners or special adjectives that are used to express ownership or possession of nouns. Possessive adjective consists of my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Possessive adjective is simple: my phone, your grandfather, our room, his first game. Example of possessive adjective sentence: your grandfather just left 5 minutes ago. He has accepted their offer. I didn't even know his last game. Next, fifth learning material about descriptive text. What is descriptive text? Basically, the explanation of descriptive text is the name as the meaning of the word descriptive itself, which is to describe something. Descriptive text is text that aims to explain, describe, or describe something. Something here can take any form, be it a person, animal, object, location, and so on. Descriptive text function from the understanding above. It can be seen that descriptive text has two functions, namely describe or decide about something, give an explanation of something in detail. Characteristic of descriptive text. You can recognize descriptive text because it has the following characteristic. Using simple present tense, focus on one object and describe it specifically. Structure of descriptive text. The structure of descriptive text is divided into two parts, namely identification and description. Identification. Identification is an introduction or general description of the object or topic to be discussed. Example: my best friend is Philip. He is classmate. Description. Description is a section that explain in detail about the object that has been introduced in the identification section. This explanation can be in the form of characteristic, appearance, amount, nature, and so on. Example: Philip and I go to school together every day. We sit next to each other. Philip is very diligent. He is really good at math. Sometimes he teaches to me too. He also likes to play football every Wednesday and Friday. We practice football together. I am glad to have a friend like Philip. Next, 6. Learning material about quoted speech and reported speech. In English, there are two ways to convey what other people have said, namely direct or quoted speech, which means sentence or direct quotations, and indirect or reported speech, which means sentence or indirect quotation. Direct or quoted speech involves quoting the exact word spoken by someone, either by using commas or question marks. For example, he said, "I won't be coming home tonight." Meanwhile, indirect or reported speech, which means sentence or indirect quotation, or also known as reports, does not have to use question, quotation mark, or is report word for word. Example, she told us that she won't be coming home at that night. The following is comparison of example between direct or quoted speech, which means sentence or direct quotation, and indirect or report speech, which means sentence or indirect quotation or report. Tenses change for direct speech to report speech. Direct speech: he said, "I'm fine." Report speech: he said that he was fine. Direct speech: he said, "I've been married for 3 years." Report speech: he said that he had been married for 3 years. Direct speech: he said, "I went to the theater yesterday." He said that he had gone to the theater the day before. Direct speech: he said the show was already underway when the chief guest arrived. Reported speech: he said that the show was already underway when the chief guest arrived, or no change in tense. Another thing to note is that modal verbs or modal verbs such as will, can, must, shall, may also change. When used in sentence, this word changes to the past tense, such as sold, called, had, to, sold, might, changing direct speech to indirect speech. Expression of time and place in reported speech. Direct speech: today. Indirect speech: that day. Direct speech: yesterday. Indirect speech: the day before the previous day. Tomorrow. Direct speech: tomorrow or next day, the following day. The day before, today before, yesterday, earlier. Next, 7. Learning material about comparative adjective. What are comparative adjectives? Comparative adjectives are words used to compare at the difference between two things. Example, smaller, bigger. Making comparative words. To make a comparative word, you must change the adjective to the comparative forms. Example, small to smaller. Rules. 1. With regular one-syllable adjective, we add "er" to make the comparative form. Example, fast to faster. 2. With regular one and two-syllable adjective that end in y, we remove the y and add "-er" to make the comparative form. Example, happy to happier. 3. Adjective that end with a single vowel followed by a single consonant. The consonant is double and "er" is added. Example, big to bigger. 4. With two-syllable adjective that don't end in y, and all three-syllable adjective we add more before the adjective. Example, beautiful to more beautiful. Irregular. Irregular adjectives don't follow these rules, so you must memorize them. Good to better, bad to worse, far to further, well to better, much more, many more. Let's practice. Fast, fast to faster. Slow, slow to slower. Strong, strong to stronger. Big to bigger. Hot to hotter. Okay, that's all for my presentation. More or less, I apologize if there are words or ways of delivering that I don't understand. Thank you and goodbye.